You might have heard about our amazing product called Life Change Tea that gently cleanses your colon and makes you feel great. When your colon is good, you're good. I'd like to share with you another great product that is sure to be another bestseller for Life Change Tea. It's called Life Change Moringa. Let me share quickly the benefits of Life Change Moringa leaf. Gram for gram, it has 7 times the vitamin C in oranges, 4 times the vitamin A in carrots, 4 times the calcium in milk with no lactose, 3 times the potassium in bananas, and 2 times the protein in yogurt. Wow! Okay, now for you. Buy 2 packages of Life Change Super Tea and you can receive Life Change Moringa for $1. Yeah, just $1. So here's how to get it. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. And if you just want the moringa, you can do that too. But why not supercharge your body? Enjoy life at getthetea.com.
Did you know that there is a way to listen to all of the great shows here on Talk Radio Network when you're on the go? Simply dial 605-562-4218 on your mobile phone. No apps or internet needed. Saves money on your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Listen to TRN on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Just dial 605-562-4218. That's 605-562-4218.
The smarter way to manage business expenses, presented by Concur.
After my conference, I checked out of the hotel and the bill was automatically added to my expense report. Then I hopped into a taxi. I snapped a photo of the receipt using Concur, and bam, there it was on my expense report. Then I used my corporate card to buy the client's lunch. Another charge added to my expense report.
Expense reports that write themselves. Just one of the many ways Concur helps manage your company's spend so you can focus on the big picture. Take a free test drive today.
Most of us have pondered about the one universal question. Is there a God? And if there is there any absolute proof? It is for that exact reason why my good friend Sam Sorbo and I, Maurice Forte, have written our book, The Answer, Proof of God in Heaven. In essence, the answers in our book are surprisingly simple as they're true. Just as light will eliminate darkness, so does the law, which in Greek is called cosmos, eliminate the possibility of chance. Therefore, chance had no part in the creation of the law of this cosmos. And so the only other possibility is that the law was created by a creator that we call God. The Answer, Proof of God in Heaven, is probably one of the most powerful books that truly proves the existence of God via his universal laws, and with it that of an eternal soul and everlasting life. Please find our book, The Answer, Proof of God in Heaven, now on Amazon.com or at our website, theanswer-book.com.
Talk 1470 WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Hi, I'm Anna Stevenson. Join me right here every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Spiritual Downloads, where we talk about everything from spiritual matters to what matters to you. So call into Spiritual Downloads and let us hear what you have to say.
Chick-fil-A is coming to Delray. The doors will open at 6 a.m. Thursday, March 26th to Chick-fil-A's first Delray location at 1800 South Federal Highway on the southwest corner with Linden Boulevard. As always, the first 100 customers will receive free Chick-fil-A for 1 year. The lineup for the first 100 will set at 6 a.m. on Wednesday, the 25th. Security, games, prizes, and of course lots of Chick-fil-A will be provided by Chick-fil-A. Complete rules and information is available online at Chick-fil-A First 100 promotion. At the same time, on Wednesday the 25th and Thursday the 26th, the new Chick-fil-A will be hosting a new book drive to benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of Delray Beach. Join us for a grand opening time at the newest Chick-fil-A on the corner of Linton and Federal in Delray. The fun starts Wednesday, March 25th, with the official opening at 6 a.m. on Thursday the 26th. Chick-fil-A, great food at an even better new neighbor.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Do you have enough light in your life? Are you soaring in the joy around you? Are you stuck and unable to make life happen? Stay tuned for the Rabbi Jenny Show, where you will learn how to bask in the light and find more joy and meaning in life. Call to talk to Rabbi Jenny at 888-565-1470 and email questions and comments at rabbijenny.com. And now, if you're ready, stay tuned for the rabbi who will light your world on fire, Rabbi Jenny.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. It's Rabbi Jenny and I'm so glad to be here. I missed you so very, very much. It is an exciting show today. I have an amazing guest and I want to remind you though, before we start the show at all, I got to remind you of the two things I never want you to forget, and we'll carry those two things through every show from now on. And the first one is the world is happening for you and not to you. And the second thing is you are divine light. It is in you. It is always wishing to expand. So let's get to today's topic. Today's topic is letting go, embracing change, and becoming the person you want to be. In 1 week from today, women all over the country will be rolling matzo balls and preparing for Passover. It's a very exciting time. And it's a wonderful time to discuss letting go and embracing change because that's in the story of Passover. That is what the story is about. And I want to teach you that story from the perspective that I've taught you before, that the characters inside of the Torah are actually inside of you. And that the characters in this very exciting story are actually coming to us through this code in Torah to teach us how to embrace change itself and not get caught up in the change that is coming. So let's talk about the story of Passover. We've all heard it. We've all heard Charlton Heston. We've seen the Seas part. They've made a couple recent movies about the story. But I'm going to tell you the story from the perspective that all the characters are inside of you. We all have a Pharaoh, we all have a Moses, and we all have an Israelite living inside of us, inside of our spirit. The Pharaoh is the part of us that wants to stay safe. It wants things to be contained and in place and doesn't want anything to change. And then we have the Israelite that's just kind of going along with things, gets a little feeling that things really shouldn't be this way, but doesn't have the strength to make the change. And then we have the big gun. We have the Moshe. We have the Moses that comes in and liberates us from our old ideas, our old thoughts, our old places, and changes our life forever. So this is how the story goes. Moses sees a burning bush, gets a message a couple weeks later. Listen, you got to go free the Israelites. They're your people. I'm simplifying it beyond all recognition, but that's what happens. So the story goes like this. He goes with the help of his brother Aaron, who acts as his voice because he's a little shy until the end of the Torah. And he goes with Aaron and he says to the Pharaoh, his pretend father for a long time, which is, again, different part of the soap opera. He goes to Pharaoh and he says, let him go. Let the Israelites go. Now remember, I want you to think of this in context of yourself. What part of your life are you getting that brewing feeling? Where are you getting that brewing Moshe feeling? Something's got to give. Something's got to change. It's time to let go. Okay? So he goes to Pharaoh, and what happens? Torah is very specific in the language that it uses. The first thing I want to tell you is the name Pharaoh has 2 Hebrew letters in it. The first one is Pei, and the second one is Resh. Those same 2 letters are in the word Tiferet, which is beauty inside the human heart as appearing in the Kabbalah tree of life. There's no coincidence to me, because Pharaoh himself continues in the story. Every time Moses comes to him, he's like, no. And the Torah says he hardens his heart. Is the hardening of the heart necessary? Yes, but we're going to talk about that. Now, let me just backstep just a little bit because I was having this really crazy thought when I was going here. You know, human beings, we think we are so above everything else in nature. But the truth is that our free will negates our own reality of a constant change. Nature is constantly this rhythm that I've taught you before. It's constantly telling us that change is coming, change is coming, change is coming. But we're the only people who resist it. You know, you don't see the bear saying, you know what, Ma, this year, nah, I'm not going to hibernate. Nah, I'm staying outside. No. You don't catch the, snake saying, I want to keep this skin. You know, it feels good. I know it's a little snug, but it's pretty, and I've had it since the 70s, and I love it. You know, but this is what we do as human beings. I mean, the rain falls from the cloud. The cloud doesn't hold the rain. What would happen if it did? What would happen if the trees decided to keep their dead leaves? Nothing new would grow. So I was thinking, why is this story so fantastic? And the reason why it's so fantastic is it teaches us that change is going to come and it's going to be messy. And it's going to be wicked messy. But we're humans. And so if we know it's messy, we know we're going to get where? We know we're going to get free. The seas are going to part and we're going to get out. So let's go through the story. So he goes to first and he goes to Pharaoh for the first time. This is so great, you guys. He goes to Pharaoh the first time. And this is how resisting change will mess with you in your life. Okay? It will start to mess with everything inside of you. The first thing that happens, Pharaoh hardens his heart. And so we get a little plague. I did a little plague research. The first plague seems a little extreme to me. Like, we didn't get bugs first. We didn't get, sick first. All the water turns to blood. You're like, I'm listening, Rabbi Jenny. Why are you telling me this is really, really, really dark? But the truth is that the imagery is that blood is life inside of us. But the truth is in water, if water turns to blood, nothing can live. Nothing can live inside of the blood. So it's like this weird paradox. It's now turned because we've humanized our experience. We've said, nope, I don't want the flow. I want to stay just how I am. I'm going to inject my own blood into this, and I am going to stay. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to harden my heart. And so Moses goes back again, and he says, let my people go. And this goes on and on and on 10 times. The coincidences continue, wink, wink, because there are no coincidences in the code or the Torah. There are 10 plagues and there are 10 energy centers in the Kabbalah tree of life. The second plague is frogs. Frogs are cute, but the frogs actually jump out of the water because they can't live there. So they start to jump inside of our houses. And whenever we resist change in our life, we just know that we need to let go of an old idea, or we know we need to let go of an old friend that just doesn't fit us anymore, or an old job, or even just a concept of ourselves that's just too limiting. It's blocking us. What will happen is it'll start to invade our home. It'll start to come in and start to seep in and make things uncomfortable. Like, who wants a frog jumping up on your table while you're eating dinner? It's terribly inconvenient, right? So then we have gnats and lice. This is exciting. We get bugs in our hair. We get annoyed. There's this feeling of annoyance. When you're around somebody, it's just not, you've just grown out of them, or you're doing something, you're just not supposed to do, and you get this feeling. It's like you get annoyed. But you know what? You ain't going. You ain't changing. And all I want to tell you is not to judge that. This message in Torah is so we kindly and lovingly allow ourselves to go through this process. We're like the snake, guys, banging up against the rock to peel that skin off. We're supposed to resist change. We're supposed to get to this point. We're supposed to be human. And the harder we are on ourselves, the harder the process will be. Excuse me, my voice. So we got the flies, we got the bugs, and then the worst stuff happens. Food doesn't taste good anymore. We get the murrain. We get the livestock. The livestock dies. It's sad. It's terrible. And in our own life, what is that? That's our cattle. That's our worth. That's the things that matter. That's the things back in biblical times that gave us value. Those are the things you gave a dowry. You gave cattle. You gave your livestock. So now the things that matter to you, the things that made you up as a human being, they don't matter anymore. How is that possible? Because you're resisting this change. So you say to yourself, well, maybe I should let go. Maybe I should start thinking of myself in a different way. Maybe I should think bigger. Maybe I have a bigger idea, bigger calling. Nah, I'm going to harden my heart, because that's what Pharaoh does. He hardens his heart again. Now remember, this is the Pharaoh in you. This is your personality. This is the part of you that's been comfortable this way. Now, you've been comfortable a million other ways throughout your life. And if you look back, you can reflect upon this process happening over and over and over again. But when it's happening in the moment, we forget. It becomes everything. Absolutely everything. So the next thing that happens is it starts to attack our flesh. It starts to attack our body. It starts to give us boils. It starts to make us hot. We start to know we're not contained. We're not comfortable inside. Then it starts to send hail our way. Everyone else can feel this. The world around us has sent us back inside. We can't even go out anymore. We can't even be there, but we're not going to change. We're not going to change. It is not until the last 3 plagues that things start to get real heavy. And I'm bringing this up because you have something, my listeners. You have something in your life that you have been resisting changing. There's an idea about you. Now, I don't want you to think about moving or job or anything like that. The specific message that's come to me about this Torah portion and this holiday this year is that you are thinking about yourself too small. You are in servitude of old ideas about who you are, about your value, about what you can bring to life, about what you can give to life. You have more value. That's what Moshe says. He says, let's go. He shows them the snake, the symbol of shedding, and says, you are meant for something more. You have forgotten. You have forgotten who you are. So we have the last 3 plagues, which very much interest me. The locusts. You guys ever hear about locusts out there? Locusts are pretty dangerous things. They're amazing when they swarm. Like, this is not like a small thing to mention in scripture. Like, they didn't say like butterflies. They said locusts. When a locust swarms crops, you will have 40 to 80 million little grasshopper-looking things. And they will eat through over 423 million pounds of plants. Now, whenever you are resisting an idea about yourself, that's how it feels. Like you're being eaten away. Like you're just not doing and being what you are meant to do, and it's just eating at you and eating at you and eating at you, and you can feel it, and it's part of this process of rubbing against the rock and shedding that skin and figuring out who you are. And then what happens? Darkness. No light whatsoever. Because then there's a reckoning. The reckoning is between you and you. The divine light that I always tell you you are, and you that knows you're that divine light and says, you are turning against who we are. You are not creating anything. And it's time to change and be free. And the final plague is, of course, the death of the firstborn. Now, from a creative standpoint, that's your inner child. You're not making anything anymore. You're completely stuck. And what's the amazing thing about life? Soon as it's dark, there's the dawn, baby. You break out. You need a wall to break out of. There, you need the dark, you need the light. That's the way things work in this world. There is not anything about this process that is to be feared. There's not anything in this process to feel bad about. Like, are you beating yourself up that you're not ready to move on so fast? Well, how long you been that way? I mean, it's just time to take it easy on you. It's just time to say, whoa, I'm in the process of change. It's a Passover in my life, and I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to be free. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Do you know someone who is currently struggling with an addiction? The struggle is over. Dream Recovery International has the answer. With a combination of highly skilled clinicians, innovative treatment modalities, and luxurious amenities, Dream Recovery International has it all. Focusing on core issues, spiritual growth, and personal empowerment, clients of Dream Recovery International leave addiction behind and move forward to fully embrace life. For more information, go to dreamrecoveryintl.com or call 855-DREAM-80. Dream Recovery International, where addiction ends and recovery begins. Spent hours in therapy, at the spa, and the gym, and still feel as if something is missing? At Walk Between the Worlds with shamanic practitioner Jennifer Sellers, you recapture lost pieces of yourself, place them within your heart, and move forward to fully actualize life. With individual sessions and group classes, with Walk Between the Worlds, you heal your mind, unite your soul, and empower your spirit. Contact walkbetweentheworlds.com today. Mention this ad on The Rabbi Jenny Show and receive 10% off your first session. Walk free and whole and true at walkbetweentheworlds.com. Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny asking you, are you ready? Life can bring many challenges, and sometimes we need help finding the answers to increase our awareness and take it to the next level. So are you ready? Come join me every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. on WWNN 1470 AM, where you can hear and see me bring spirit, light, and love into your life. Are you ready? It's time to change your life, take it to the next level, and embrace the greatness that is you. Are you ready? The time is now. Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. on WWNN 1470. So let's get ready.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey everyone, it's Rabbi Jenny, and as you can see, my voice is a little bit better. And we're talking about embracing change and becoming free. And we're celebrating the Passover holiday, which is a traditional story that we've all heard. And we're probably going to talk about it next week in a different way, because I'd love to teach you how to look at Torah from different angles. You know, that's why it's such an amazing things to do, to study, to see why has this book lasted so long? What does it have to tell me? So we're embracing change. And I wanted to give you an example before I introduce our fabulous guest from my own life about resisting change and how it can cause so much pain inside of you that you will eventually change anyways. I had a job that I loved. And let me just tell you, this is a job I loved more than any job I ever had. And it was the kind of job that I loved because I was like Pharaoh. I was totally Pharaoh at this job. I got to build new programs. I got to sing in different ways. I got to invent things. I got to love people. I got to build pyramids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to use all my little Israelites inside and build and build. And you know what happened? One day I went in my office and I just was like, it's just time to go. And if I tell you, my listeners, because I am a human, you know, a year later I left in the messiest way because I resisted the feeling. And the most amazing thing is, a year later, I got a job building a youth program. Same thing. I was Pharaoh again. I was building. My Israelites, they were happy. We were happy. But I knew something was coming. I could feel it. Moses was talking to me. I could feel it. And what happened was, the funding for my program was pulled. And instead of being how I was before and making a mess, I listened and prepared. And the transition was different. It was still different and still changed my whole life in a huge way. But I was able to trust this messy process. Birth is messy. Life is messy. Thank God. When you bake a cake, before you put it in the oven, it is a bowl of nasty, runny egg mush. And when you pull it out, it is a beautiful cake. And that is the way life is. It's how it's designed. So we have an amazing guest today to talk about embracing change and letting go. And it is my very dear friend and colleague, Pastor Cedric C.W. Mays. Tell us who you are, Cedric. Hi, Cedric.
Good afternoon, listeners. Glad to be here with you, Rabbi Jenny. This is my girl. I just get so much energy from her, and just imagine being able to work with her every day, 5 days a week. So I pull that energy. I am deliciously delighted to be here tonight. I bring you greetings from one of the greatest churches on this side of heaven, the New Faith Baptist Fellowship in the great city of West Palm Beach, where I've had the wonderful privilege of pastoring God's greatest people for the last 7 years. Just a small backdrop of how this came about.
Okay.
24 years and 5 months ago, God delivered me from substance abuse and alcoholism and the world of crime and prison. And God.
Okay, wait. I'm going to slow you down because we're on topic.
All right.
These are my colleagues. I bring them on the show, make them cuckoo. You know, I do. I don't want no promotion. I want to know about you because this is an amazing man here. I want to know because this is the perfect example of a Passover story.
Absolutely.
This is a release from bondage. So take us through it. I want to hear a little bit more detail about you. I want to hear about what big events, what were the plagues that finally set you free? Because I know that there were.
Well, as you alluded earlier about the Israelites inside of us and the pharaohs and all. I mean, I was over here bubbling. My Israelites was low self-esteem.
So true.
My Israelite was not thinking outside of the box, and it took me from coming out of college with an education to fall flat on my face with the awesome family support that I turned my back off and I walked away from, because I didn't have enough in me to embrace change. And it took a 30-year prison sentence for me to finally embrace that change. And I was sitting in a small cell about the size, a little smaller than this room. And I said, God, if you get me out of this one, every time I think about that moment, I get so emotional, because if I did not embrace that change and kept resisting the Israelite that was in me, I would have been in a dark place. Every time I read one of your lights, it reminds me of a passage of scripture that says, "Let your little light shine before men." And I made that decision on October the 22nd, 1989, and to embrace this change and stop resisting it.
And when you got to, it's funny because I really want the listeners to get the idea of embracing change itself. Don't get caught up in the specifics of the change. See, that's the thing, man. Get on the roller coaster, pull the straps down. We're going for a ride, okay? It's just the way it is. And then you don't get caught up, because knowing you, Cedric, your life has gone through a lot of change over and over and over again. So it's kind of like to say you don't embrace it and still being on the ride so consciously, like we can kind of like kick and scream and still, I mean, I'm screaming on the roller coaster now, you know, but it's that idea of just trusting that on the other end, like the man you are now, looking back at that man, would tell him what?
I would tell him what was the problem of just reaching out for help and then embracing that help. We tend to, as I love how you did the analogy of how it's not like that people don't want to change. People just scared to step out of the box.
Right.
And when I stepped out of the box and said, okay, I was raised like this here, but I ended up like this here. This story is not lining up like I thought it was going to be. And I made a decision to embrace that change. And it has been a phenomenal ride these last almost 24 and a half years. And I tell anybody that I encounter that you don't need a PhD to do this. Only thing you got to do is have a willing heart and stop hardening your heart.
Right.
And we harden our heart to life issues. We harden our heart to not embracing the beauty of life. You know, when you was talking about the snake that wanted to let us, I was over here.
You know, you got some shoes like that you don't want to let go of. I know you. I swear to God, I swear.
Yes.
I was thinking.
And it was like, okay, I was in this cocoon and I didn't want to come out. And I was stuck in this cocoon for 10 years.
Well, it goes to what I always say at the beginning of every show. I'm going to make sure I remind you that the world is happening for you and not to you. And that's why pastors and rabbis, and we're here to remind you of that, because you can't see what God can see. You can't see what the divine can see. You can only see right now in your past. So like the Cedric you are now has to actually like almost reach in and be like, this is what's possible, because there's no way. So if you have an ache, you know, and actually we'll go into that later. I want to hear about recent. I want to go to recent, Cedric. You got any recent Passover stories in your life you want to share with the listeners? Like recent where you were challenged by your own self-limiting beliefs?
Absolutely. I personally, and I don't know if this may fit, but I jumped in my car one day after an awesome time at worship, and I literally rode past my exit. I'm like, okay, God, I can't do this anymore. And it was almost like I wanted to just give up.
Wow.
You know, it was ministry is hard sometimes. People look at it and think, you know, it's rabbis and pastors and this is glorious. They don't have an idea. And I rode past my exit, and I literally almost got probably to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that voice says, I didn't give up on you, so why you giving up on me?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a turning point in my life to look how far I've come and look how far I still yet have to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people need to hear this voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so that was amazing turnaround for me, and to just want to run into my car and went out of gas.
So tell me which, it's going to be like a little Passover quiz, but which plague would that moment be, you think, of the 10? Which one?
Oh, you put me on the spot on that one. Give me a minute. Let me think about that one.
Because I was thinking for the listeners, that the darkness.
Yeah.
And sometimes this process of change can be lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't know what you ignited in that service, at that worship inside yourself. Mm-hmm. You could have said something. You could have given a sermon that pushed your boundaries. It pushed those Israelites and said, wait a minute, we're meant for something bigger. And you got on the highway and Pharaoh said, no. And the darkness hit hard, Sometimes it hits hard and fast. I appreciate those moments because that's when I can, like you said, I can hear. I know where I'm going. Like, I almost like the blunt, this is it. It's the vagary. It's the moment in the beginning where it's like, oh, maybe I feel this way. Maybe I'm meant for something bigger. Did I really think that? Do I really say that? So I think that must have been a sermon. Do you remember what your sermon was about that day?
Yes. It was actually entitled, You Can't, But He Can.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, I'm preaching to myself now.
Right.
Because a lot of times the Israelites in us will think that we can fix things.
Mm-hmm.
And we put our hands in the cookie jar and the cookies crumble.
Right.
And it reminds me when I was a little boy, Mama say, get your hand out of the cookie jar. And I'm like, Mama, I'm just only getting a cookie. But every time I stick my hand in that cookie jar, the cookies crumble. Mm. And that one service was a service that revolutionized my thought process and told me that this is much bigger than this moment.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing when you are a preacher or you are you can. It's like the moment that you have really bright moments, and immediately following them, it's so dark you can't even understand it. My sister's an entertainer, and she'll actually be on the show. I'm so excited. In a couple weeks, but we always talk about after a great show how you can expect like 3 days of dark depression because that's it. Your process of change is over. You got to shed the skin. It's done. Life is not about getting there. It's about the journey. It's not. You're not going to wear that skin forever. You're going to put on a new skin. So we'll be back with Pastor Mays in a few moments. We'll see you then.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5424 5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. AMP2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV.
Do you know someone who is currently struggling with an addiction? The struggle is over. Dream Recovery International has the answer. With a combination of highly skilled clinicians, innovative treatment modalities, and luxurious amenities, Dream Recovery International has it all. Focusing on core issues, spiritual growth, and personal empowerment, clients of Dream Recovery International leave addiction behind and move forward to fully embrace life. For more information, go to dreamrecoveryintl.com or call 855-DREAM-80. Dream Recovery International, where addiction ends and recovery begins. Spent hours in therapy, at the spa, and the gym, and still feel as if something is missing? At Walk Between the Worlds with shamanic practitioner Jennifer Sellers, you recapture lost pieces of yourself, place them within your heart, and move forward to fully actualize life. With individual sessions and group classes, with Walk Between the Worlds, you heal your mind, unite your soul, and empower your spirit. Contact walkbetweentheworlds.com today. Mention this ad on The Rabbi Jenny Show and receive 10% off your first session. Walk free and whole and true at walkbetweentheworlds.com.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey everyone, it's Jenny, and I'm here with Pastor Cedric Mays. It's Rabbi Jenny, and we're talking about letting go and embracing change. I want to direct this segment to how ugly it can get when you do that. Yeah. Because the thing is what we resist persists, right? Like, we become the things that we are resisting against. I went to see this movie, and I highly recommend everyone go see it. I don't think it's everywhere. I saw it at the Lake Worth movie theater. It's called The Get. It's an Israeli film. It's the trial of Vivian Umsalam, and it's actually the story of a woman who's trying to get a get or a divorce agreement from her Orthodox husband in Israel. And the trial lasts 5 years. And her husband refuses to give her this get. Like, he is farrowing out. Like, he just will not grant this woman freedom. And it gets uglier and uglier and uglier. And no matter what he can do, what happens is he ends up showing who he is. He tries. You know, it's like if we try and we try and we try and we try to resist the change, we become the monster or whatever it is that people have seen all the time. Give me an example from your own life. It doesn't have to be you. Of getting ugly. Like, I know my own, like, when I feel myself growing and changing and I'm not listening, I get ugly, man. I throw some hail at people. Lightning.
and it's so easy to do because we get caught up in the hustle and bustle of what we do, what we love doing, and then all of a sudden life throws us a curveball, and it takes us to that dark place. And to that grim, dismal, dreary place. And we have to use what's on the inside of us to get us out. I tell people all the time, you know, I'm just as human as you are. And one of my favorite quotes is, you're just seeing the glory, you don't know the story.
Right.
If you knew the story of how I got to where I am, you will have a lot of OMG moments, you know, because I've come from a lot of dark moments. I come from a lot of moments where I didn't know if I was going to make it, but I kept persevering and I kept enduring the bumps, the obstacles. I tell people all the time, I've never seen a track and field runner, especially who runs the 100-yard hurdles.
Right.
I've never seen a track and field runner stop and pick up a hurdle.
Right.
Even if his back leg, when he hurdles,
hits
the hurdle,
yep.
he keeps on going. And that's what I've been doing. I've been persevering, hitting some hurdles, personal, business, and just make sure I keep enduring.
So, we're talking about like how the resistance to change and to the things coming into your life can make things ugly. And I know for myself, I mean, if I'm getting the message to hunker down, to get, be alone, or to get some space because I need to reflect on some changes in my life, and somebody comes on in, I will bark, I will bite, I will become whatever it is that I fear the most in myself. So the messages that the Pharaoh has been telling the Israelites in me, I will realize them if I don't listen. So it's like this process. Can you give an example of your life when you didn't behave like in a way that you were proud of, but it preceded a huge shift in how you treated yourself? Because remember, we're talking about teaching the listeners how to embrace the change of how they view their self. So see if you can think of a time where you behaved in a way where you had to reconsider how you think of yourself or care for yourself.
I mean, I love impromptu.
It's the magic of the Rabbi Jenny Show.
It's the magic.
I want you to be you.
Yes,
because that's what they need to hear.
I remember going through a divorce, and some parts of it allowed me to get out of character.
Right.
Some parts allowed me to do things that I sat back and looked at and say, was that really me? It was a learning experience because, and when I do counseling, I tell people, it's the beauty of getting into it. It's ugly when you come out of it.
Right.
And what I learned from that is that you can grow even in dark places. You just have to learn how to find the contents in the dark places. I use this analogy. Now I'm appreciating impromptu. How you take negatives to CVS or Walgreens,
right?
And the first thing they do is they take your negatives and they put it in a dark place,
right?
And I'm like, wow. Every time I think about this, I get goosebumps because if it's in a dark place, then negatives can produce positives. How in the world can they take negatives and put them in a dark place and come out to be these beautiful pictures?
And sometimes we're pushing when you go through major life events, having been through that myself, when you push, like giving birth, you're pushing and pushing, just get through it, just get through it, just get through it, just get through it. And it's in those moments of ugliness where your heart just boom, and you either, at least with me, I cry, I behave in a way that embarrasses me, and I find out, wait a minute, I've been pushing, I've been building pyramids, I've been trying to get through this thing in life without appreciating my heart. This has shifted my life. This has changed who I am as a woman, as who you are as a man. This is now teaching me what I need out of life. The depth of my heart, the depth of my soul, how important I am. Now remember, in the story of Passover, this is the promise, these are the people going to inherit the earth. This is the part of you that's the most precious, the most divine. And it's those moments of thunder and lightning and boils and stuff where you go, wait a minute, I forgot. This hurt. Yes. And it could be screaming in court or making a fool out of yourself in the front lawn or whatever it is that causes that floodgate, the seas part. Scripture's so great.
Yes.
Cause the seas to part, those tears flow, and you go, oh my gosh, I'm human. And you get a little piece of your heart, and you get a little more appreciation for how amazing you are and what you'll need for the next relationship.
Absolutely.
That was a good talk about divorce. If you've been through it, if you're going through it, hang in there,
you can survive.
Yes, you can make it. Okay. And the other thing too is like what we were talking about before break, you can't see what's coming.
Absolutely.
And I was always taught by a friend of mine, his name is Ross, that God has only three answers. Yes, not now, or here's something better. There's no in there, guys. So you can't see it. You just can't see what's coming. So you may be moving or your life may be changing, but I guarantee you the world is happening for you. Something new. I mean, if I wouldn't have left that youth center, I wouldn't have met you and our amazing staff at Dream.
Absolutely.
You know, the friends and the creativity. Talk to us about your church. I want to hear more about what you guys are doing. Do you have any events you want to promote or anything going on?
Yes, we have actually a Friday Night Live that we do at the church. We took the analogy from what the world has is First Friday,
right?
And we created a Friday Night Live event. It's not every Friday, but it's a Friday Night Live to let people know that, hey, you're not in the world anymore, but you can still have fun on Friday nights. My church was birthed out of a revelation. I had come from a traditional background. I sat up under my grandfather, who was the pastor from the church. I came out of my mother's womb for 43 years. And when he died, they did not give me the church. And
this is what we're talking about, though. I'm sorry. This is it. This is the Passover moment. I didn't get what I thought I was supposed to get.
And it was painful that the mantle didn't get passed to me. And I sat there with the new pastor for 3 years, and then God finally released me. And I birthed my church after putting in 7 resumes to different churches because I wanted to go somewhere where I can get a salary and office and insurance and all this stuff. And
you want to arrange it. You want it to be safe, like a pyramid.
And God says, no. I want you to do what's already in you, and that's birth something. And I birthed my church 7 years ago. I have not gotten a salary in 7 years. Got members of my congregations that are throwbacks that most churches won't take. The drug dealers, the prostitutes, the strippers, people that never been church. People that if they walk in somebody else's church, they will probably say, who are you looking for? But I remind them all the time that Jesus didn't preach in a synagogue. He preached in the wilderness. and it has been a wonderful and somewhat painful 7-year experience. It's great ministry wise. Sometimes it's tough financial, but it is in those dark moments when I appreciate when I walk in there and I see people lives are changing.
Okay, I need you to do something with me because, Cedric's a singer too. Pastor Cedric, Rabbi Jenny, we're in a first name basis here, people,
Yes.
Title free. Let's sing.
Okay.
You want to do a little Amazing Grace or should we do a little, Slide in the Family Stone?
Whatever you want to do.
I don't know. Start me off. Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. You better go, girl.
Go.
I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Oh, I just love singing with Zed. We went horseback riding and we sang and it was fun. We'll see you in a few minutes on the Rabbi Jenny Show. Thank you, Pastor Cedric.
Thank you.
Spent hours in therapy, at the spa, and the gym, and still feel as if something is missing? At Walk Between the Worlds with shamanic practitioner Jennifer Sellers, you recapture lost pieces of yourself, place them within your heart, and move forward to fully actualize life. With individual sessions and group classes, with Walk Between the Worlds, you heal your mind, unite your soul, and empower your spirit. Contact walkbetweentheworlds.com today. Mention this ad on the Rabbi Jenny Show and receive 10% off your first session. Walk free and whole and true at walkbetweentheworlds.com.
Chick-fil-A is coming to Delray. The doors will open at 6 a.m. Thursday, March 26th to Chick-fil-A's first Delray location at 1800 South Federal Highway on the southwest corner with Linden Boulevard. As always, the first 100 customers will receive free Chick-fil-A for 1 year. The lineup for the first 100 will set at 6 a.m. on Wednesday, the 25th. Security, games, prizes, and of course lots of Chick-fil-A will be provided by Chick-fil-A. Complete rules and information is available online at Chick-fil-A First 100 promotion. At the same time, on Wednesday the 25th and Thursday the 26th, the new Chick-fil-A will be hosting a new book drive to benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of Delray Beach. Join us for a grand opening time at the newest Chick-fil-A on the corner of Linton and Federal in Delray. The fun starts Wednesday, March 25th, with the official opening at 6 a.m. on Thursday the 26th. Chick-fil-A, great food at an even better new neighbor.
Do you know someone who is currently struggling with an addiction? The struggle is over. Dream Recovery International has the answer. With a combination of highly skilled clinicians, innovative treatment modalities, and luxurious amenities, Dream Recovery International has it all. Focusing on core issues, spiritual growth, and personal empowerment, clients of Dream Recovery International leave addiction behind and move forward to fully embrace life. For more information, go to dreamrecoveryintl.com or call 855-DREAM-80. Dream Recovery International, where addiction ends and recovery begins.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey everyone, it's Rabbi Jenny. Welcome back for our last segment. I'm so excited that you're here, reminding you to let go and embrace change and become the person you are meant to be. And before we move on to our Joy Jar contest, which I'm psyched about, I really wanted to spiritually remind you that change can take the form of anything. It can be old ideas, it can be old styles, old clothes, old job, old interests, old friendships, old food. Like, pay attention if you just don't want to eat something anymore. Don't eat it, okay? Don't look at change as something that's foreign. Look at change as a necessary part of the process. And imagine yourself kind of like the little snake, rubbing up against the rock of your life. It's the rock of life we always hear, in all sorts of spiritual scriptures and imagery, the rock, you get honey from the rock. And you're going to scratch away that rock and take that skin off and become the beautiful, luscious snake you were meant to be. Oh, no, I just said that with the word snake. But I do want to say something with you. There are two images of snake in the scripture. One of them is in the Passover story, and one of them is in the Adam and Eve story that we talked about a few weeks ago. And the truth is that the serpent is the best example of huge shifts. And we never, ever, ever have imagery appear in scripture negatively. We don't judge it. We look at it. We look at the meaning behind it and pull it. And we don't want to judge it. We don't want to look at things from an evil or negative way. We want to always look at the love and feel the love in all the messages. So it is time for the Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge.
Joy, 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 joy. It's Adeline Go.
Oh, I love the jar.
It's time for the Rabbi Jenny Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge.
Who do we have on the phone today? Hello?
Oh, good afternoon. Hello, this is Jeff. How are you?
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Very good, very good.
You ready to take the Joy Jar Challenge? Do you know what it is? Do you know anything about it?
Not too much. I had it described to me briefly.
Okay, Blake. Okay, no, that's okay. What I need you to do is in 30 seconds or less, I need you to name 10 things that make you feel ridiculously joyful. You ready?
Okay, yes.
Okay, ready, go.
All right, I'm joyful. I have a radio show on 1470 AM. I'm joyful about my career, my law practice, my health, my family, my pets. I'm counting each one, my Schnauzer and Shih Tzu, my friends. I'm going to be going back to school soon to restart my PhD. Recently involved in a non-for-profit organization that I recently joined. And I'm happy about being on your show right now.
All right, Jeff. Well, yay! Woo! We need exploding. We need effects. Woo! So tell us about what's your show? Who are you?
My show. I'm Jeff Van Treese. I have a show called Talk Legal, Tuesday nights from 6 to 6:30. Talk about a variety of legal topics and how it affects everyday lives of people listening.
Oh, wonderful. You come be on my show? I'll come be on your show, being an attorney myself.
Oh, I didn't know. Freddie didn't. I mentioned you. He didn't mention you were an attorney. So
Yeah. You'll come be on my show, maybe. I hope. We can talk about the legality in Leviticus. That'll be fun. I'm just kidding, Jeff. Is there anything you want to promote today for winning your contest?
My law practice, Altman, Flynn & Kubler. You can check us out online, altmanpatent.com, OLTMANPATENT.com. And please watch my show Tuesday night, 6 to 6:30 p.m.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, Jeff, thank you so much. Have a great one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Great speaking to you. Take care.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
you too. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, that was a good one. I like that. 2 dogs. That's nice. That's nice. So we're talking again about letting go and embracing a change and becoming the person you want to be. I have this thing about movies, and I was at home with the flu this weekend, and I was watching this old movie with Whoopi Goldberg, and it was it's called Bogus, and it was about this little boy who lost his mom, and he has to go live with his mom's foster sister, who is Whoopi Goldberg. And it was a wonderful story about change and the gifts that are coming on the other side that might not take the outer appearance that you imagine them to be. You know, we know as the Israelites go later on in the journey, they judge how things look, and there's a whole other message past the Passover story. But we can always judge things too much by how they look or how they sound. You know, maybe, you feel like those shoes are too big for you to fill. The thing is if the shoes are in your closet, put them on. Because somebody trusted that they could go on your feet. You know, we're doing a lot of shoe references today. I don't know. Maybe I should clean out, go to Goodwill, throw out some shoes. All right. I like my shoes. All right, girl first, Rabbi second. So let's see. Pastor Mace is still here. We're going to bring him back on for 1 second. And we're going to talk about what you're resisting now. Mm-hmm. Hot spot. You got it. In 2 minutes or less. What is it right now? You can feel it.
I think what I'm resisting is allowing myself to allow this new season that I'm in to just happen. Mm-hmm. A lot of times after we go through a lot of dark places, we want to try to put together this puzzle. Mm-hmm. I tell my church all the time, and there's a true story that I have a best friend. Him and his daughter have puzzle night every Friday night for years. He gets her on the weekend, and he called me frustrated one night and say, "Man, this girl is 12 years old. She was 7 then, and she beats me every Friday night in puzzle." And he says, I got so fed up. I asked her why. How did you beat me? I'm much older than you. And she said, "Daddy, the reason why I've been beating you since I was a little girl is I do something that you don't do. I look at the picture on the box."
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my God.
That is a whole other show, folks. Thank you, Pastor. You're going to have to come back. You're going to come back and see us, right?
Yes,
okay?
I will.
You promise?
Yes.
Okay, because we're going to talk about that. Looking for the open window, not the closed door.
Yes.
That's a whole other show.
Yes.
Whole other scripture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's time for the Jenny Jam, I think. We ready?
Yo, 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 jam, jam, Rabbi Jenny jam, get your jam.
Why you holding on? Why can't you let go? It's time to be free, to let the waters flow. Change is scary, change is hard. Feels like the earth is breaking apart. Like you'll be swallowed, you'll fall down. Nothing to save you, no one around. But if you ain't growing, you ain't changing, and you just stay the same, and the world won't see what you are made of, that is just a shame. It's time to move, it's time to grow, 'cause life is calling, don't you know? Just trust the process and let go, and watch the blessings flow. Why you holding on? Why can't you let go? It's time to be free and let the waters flow. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's greed. Think that they got something you need. But if that's what's true, how could it be that things are shifting, breaking free? Say no to fear, say yes to trust. The time is here, change is a must. The longer you wait, the bigger the hate that builds in your heart to open the gate. Through pain and through joy, your choice to make. How much darkness can you take? Takes more strength, takes more work to keep from changing. You go berserk, swimming upstream against the wave. You never dream and remain a slave. Why you holding on? Why can't you let go? It's time to be free and let the waters flow. Why you holding on? Why can't you let go? It's time to be free and let the waters flow. So this is Rabbi Jenny. I want to remind you of a couple of things. I want to remind you that you can check us out now on YouTube. And you can see old episodes of the Rabbi Jenny Show and catch up, because the lessons, they kind of build on each other. And I want you to be on board with me and remember that there's a new thought that's going to come in, and it's going to build and change you and give you that light that I promise you. And I want you to remember that you are that light. And I'm here to remind you that the world is happening for you. You can be a ridiculous rabbi rapping on the radio like a freak. I mean, who could have planned that when I was like 5 years old taking dance classes? I don't know. I didn't see it coming. But you know what? That's the way life is. And God can see. And He sees the good in you and the life in you. So remember, I adore you. Keep shining. I will see you next Wednesday at 5 o'clock.
You have been listening and lighting up your life with Rabbi Jenny. Join us next week for another session of love, light, and joy as Rabbi Jenny takes life to the next level. Are you ready? Rabbi Jenny says the time is now.